I'd like to call the Audit and Capital Improvement Committee meeting of April 4th at 10:06 a.m. Mr. Vandenberg made it.
Yeah.
Good morning. We just started.
Good morning.
All right, so on our agenda today is two things. We're going to talk about our grading program, and we're going to talk about our 5-year plan. So we'll do the 5-year plan first, because that's more important than the grading.
Hey, you want to borrow?
Has everybody had a chance to look at it? And does anybody have any suggestions as to what they want to do? Or we can go through it. We can go through it systematically through the list that we have off our
I'd be Univate pen if you want.
capital requests. Basically, the
I'm trying to remember how we've done this before.
yeah, well, what we've done is slid it forward. Typically, we'll take and we'll slide our stuff forward.
Yeah.
You guys excuse me for a minute, I'll go get the capital submission that we did at town meeting last year, I
Okay.
think. But I like consistency.
No, that's
That way we don't,
yeah.
we
Yeah.
don't mislead different people.
Yeah.
Our biggest thing is we have is the fire department, highway department, building maintenance, and the school department are our biggest request items.
These are great pens, aren't they?
Yeah.
I have about 10 of them, all over the
And you
place.
can take 10 more every time you go in.
I'm sure mine is out on the parking lot somewhere. For letting me use them.
No, you can have it.
You sure?
Yes.
You can spare it?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for the coffee, Ben.
You're welcome. You could have texted me. You know. That was before we got tied up.
Actually, I told him to get you one, right?
Oh,
What his
yeah,
issue was.
I'll remember that.
Mike, did you do a good job at your meeting last week?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Oh, that's, I have the same ringtone, so. Yeah, so tonight, we go over the balanced budget that Mr. Wojcik presented to us last week, if we agree with it or not.
Oh, really?
So that's tonight's
Is
finance
that a
committee.
tense meeting or?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And then on April 12 is when it's sort of open to the public. I mean, every meeting is public, right? You
Well,
can,
that's it. I.
you can come to any meeting you want,
Yeah.
ever. you
Yeah,
know.
but I like it when it used to be that it was a public hearing.
Yes.
And,
Me too.
I missed the whole public hearing on the personnel bylaw change. And it
It
was,
turns out it's not potential spending.
you know, I was told, oh, it was brought up at the selectmen's meeting, which is an open meeting.
Right, right.
You know, but the bylaw was actually sitting in the town clerk's office, so,
Does it come up as me when I go?
you know, and didn't
I don't think people realize they can come to any meeting.
Because I called it the other day and they knew.
Well,
I-
yeah, but-
I forwarded
They
it.
do.
You do,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Shirley does.
Come up my name
Yeah.
anyway.
3 other people do.
Well, there's a lot of new people in town.
Yes, I
Yeah.
called
And
it.
they don't understand that how the government works.
Yeah, I'm not sure I do all the time.
Your speed dial number in our system? You're not a speed-
Oh,
I don't know if that's the same one, but,
I prefer not.
What we have.
I did.
Yeah.
You have that? Oh, you do? Good.
Yeah, I
don't have
do.
to make another copy.
I do.
I miscounted.
I have that, I think, right?
You have one too? You have one, Brad?
Dick, you said the 12th? Dick,
What's that?
you said the 12th
Right.
was,
Yeah, that's 7. So what's nice about that one is that's where, so tonight, the Finance Committee is just kind of going through the budget, and do we agree or not with what Matt recommended? But then the one on the 12th is where we actually vote on the warrant articles that we
and I have,
recommend, don't recommend,
Yeah.
have no opinion, so.
unfortunately, I have another meeting that night. And I felt there was no problem because initially, I think you said it was probably going to be on the 14th, which was a Thursday night. You're here.
Did I say the 14th? It's a Tuesday, whatever that is.
It's the 12th. And like I said, I have another meeting, unfortunately. But maybe some people will, hopefully they'll come.
So Mike, tomorrow at the selectmen's meeting, are you guys going to talk about the budget also?
I don't know.
Okay.
We can find out from Lisa what's on the agenda, I'm not sure. Before we get into this, we had talked about a couple different things. One, the creation of a special stabilization account for the fire department, replacement of the apparatuses. So we have that on our consideration today. Well, I'll be asking Ken for some input so he can help us through that process. And the other thing is, this year we had voted to match the Chapter 90 funds, $360,000. That will put us at $720. The recommended amount through the study from Stantec was $1.7 million over the next 20 years. This should be a reoccurring thing each year to match in order to correct these roads, to get them to where we're going to get a few of them that are on the list. That'll come off because of the water projects. Like if you look at our current 3-year plan that we had on there, the water department, Gilboa Street main upgrade, that's going to get done with that grant that came through, part of these big projects that they're working on. So that'll come off our list. So some of those roads are going to get corrected. Gilboa Street, North Street going up the Main, and then down Northeast Main, I believe, as well, which won't be part of our capital projects as much as part of the grants that came through in those bigger projects. But there is an importance to have some continuing efforts to address these roads because everybody knows they're in terrible shape. What's that do to us? If we use our current figures of $1.1 million, that brings us down to a budget of about $740,000 a year that we can use for capital. Now, there's talk about other funds that would come available. Until we have them, I don't like to consider them. We get them, we get them. If we don't, we don't. But last year, we had around 1.1 million. This year, we have about 1.1 million. It seems like we're staying pretty steady with that. So that should be somewhat of a consideration when we're making this 5-year plan, so we're somewhat logical with what we're presenting, so we don't look foolish and say we put all this stuff on there knowing that we couldn't get it done. That's one part of it. The other part of it is I need the help of, or we, not just me, but we need the help from the fire department as to whether or not we're going to be able to get into this rotation of every 5 years doing the truck. So we did one through a, did we take a loan out on that other one? On the one in
Engine
2007?
3 back in 2017, I believe we did a debt exclusion for it.
Debt exclusion for that.
I think so.
And so now this one's going to come out of capital. So the next two, I don't know if it's possible, but hopefully you can make a 5-year span, 4 to 5 year span to get that next vehicle. And then we need to bridge it a little bit further to get the other one. That's the only way I can see this special capital stabilization fund working, is to get into a system like that. Once we get past these current 3 trucks that we have a problem with, it should settle down. He still has, you can explain it, but we've replaced engine 3, you have the 99, the 01, and you have the 05, but he also has the tanker trucks for brush fires and things like that, so that's not the only trucks that are on there. These are all considerations we just have to have amongst everything else that we gotta fix. I started putting together some totals on different things. The highway department, just on their list that they gave us, 23 was 782,000. That's minus the garage and the, oh no, that's with the garage and with the, I left the paving on there because if that's gonna be a reoccurring thing, that's what was on their list. 24 is 445,000. 25 was 174. 26 was 275, and 27 was 178. Building maintenance, you have 153 for 23, that wasn't funded. You have 450 for 24, you have 390 for 25, 370 for 26, 175 for 27. School department had, we funded those 2 items for them. That leaves 375 on their current requests, 375, 316. 24, they have 138, 733. 25, they have 77. 26, they have 144, 200. 27, they have 41, 300. Fire department. The exhaust system is going to be done through budget, as we had talked about. The engine replacement, we had voted to approve that. If it goes through, that leaves them $1,048,000 for 23, $600,000 for 24, $1,600,000 for 25, 26 is 370,000. 27 is 50,000, 28 is 250, 29 is 70, and 30 is 30,000. And the only reason I went through this like this, and there's other departments in here that have other things, but these are the biggest ones that are on there. And the only reason I went through this is so everybody gets it in their head that we only have currently about $750,000 to spend. And if you add all these up on different years, we can't do it, but we got to figure out what's really needed, and we need the help from all departments to come up with a good plan moving forward after we get out of this stuff.
Is that 700,000 plus or minus, is that reduced even further if we pass the stabilization fund?
No. So we have $1,100,000 on average for our capital as it's been for the last 2 years. So if you take the 360 out of that, it brings you down to 740,000. And that's just a decision that the town has to make if they want to invest into the roads. Why is the roads on capital? It's really a capital of the town. It's something that we need. It's over $10,000. It's gonna life expectancy is over 4 to 5 years per the bylaw. There's no way a department could get into that. We're trying to eliminate the fact that we borrow for these certain things. So that's why the recommendation was, or suggestion was to put it into the capital budget. It takes a good bite out of it, but with the thought process of what we're trying to do for that stabilization account, that eliminates that big hit that we have every 5 years from the large apparatuses that we buy.
Well, I for one would like to see us set aside money for the roads and start nipping away at the elephant, one bite at a time.
Yeah.
It at least shows progress.
Yeah, no, it's needed to be done. Obviously, it's going to be on this year's warrant. And if it gets passed, which will be encouraging, and have confidence that the highway superintendent will put it to good use and get one of the heavily traveled, needed roads done. How much he gets done out of it, it remains to be seen once he gets his bids back and all his engineering and all that foolishness that he has to go through to get to that point, so. Let's go back to 2023. So the Mower and Attachments is still on, John had that up on 23, which we didn't do that, right?
22, right?
Yeah, he had it, it's on, so you're correct on that. So if you're looking at our 3-year plan that we put out last year, it was on 2022. John has it on, he has it on 23, which we didn't fund it, right? And actually, if you look at that, it was, his last estimate was 131,000. It has grown to 170 because he had thought that switching brands, going to another brand was going to be more beneficial to the town, but then after further research, he found that it was an inadequate option for him. So that's what raised that price on it.
So are you talking the highway mower and attachments, or are you talking the highway sidewalk tractor plow snow blower?
Yeah, so if you look on the 22, on the plan that, in the capital improvement plan that we already have out, the second line item, highway sidewalk tractors plow snow blower for 131,000. If you go on his request, item number 3 is the sidewalk tractor plow and snow blower, which is the same thing, he just didn't put highway in front of it.
And that's 170 or something?
Yes, he has 170 on this.
So that's not been funded. I'm just putting.
No, we haven't funded that at all. No.
What was it as his priority, though?
He had it on there for 23. Oh, you can't go by that because he did his priorities in sequence, not on individual needs. So it's kind of hard to use the priority thing. Hopefully after this year, and we have a clearer understanding for everybody to use the scoring sheet that will end up with something that we can refer back to. But doing it priority-wise, the school did the same thing. If you look at all their stuff, it's 1 through whatever. They didn't do it priority 1 for this multiple times. Like you had done it priority 1 multiple times. You did it the way that I would anticipate it to be done, but they did it in sequence. And Adam did the same thing on his building stuff. So-
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I may, so John had I think it was priority 1, his dump truck, which we didn't fund.
Correct.
So that moves up to 2024.
Well, yeah, that's what we're going to go through. So
Okay.
for everybody's benefit, I did reach out to him about, because he has 2 trucks. If you look at the next year, he has another truck on there. Because of his current housing for his vehicles, he can only fit 1 truck. But he needs 2 trucks, but he can only fit 1 truck, so there's no sense in getting him a truck if we can't put it inside. So he needs 1 of those 2 at bare minimum.
So he doesn't, this one was not funded in.
We didn't fund it, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna decide if we're moving that forward. It's something that he needs. He can only fit 1 truck, so he's not looking to get 2 trucks currently. He's looking to replace at least 1 of them.
So on FY '22, there are 3 things that aren't going forward or have not gone forward, and they're all highway, right?
Yes. Yep. Yep, the three things, because like I said, the Gilboa water main is off our capital list because that is going to be handled with the improvements with the grant money that the town obtained. Is that correct, Matt?
Yep,
Yeah.
pipe arrived this morning.
Excuse me?
The pipe came in this morning.
Oh, that's why you're smiling.
Well, I got to smile about something. Monday.
So let's just go over our 3 years that we have real quick, just so we can put that to rest. So is everybody satisfied with 22 that we had with the highway request? Is that clear for everybody? So 23, the school department had requested to recoat and paint the running track. And somewhere along the line, if you look at their submission, they moved it up to 26. So they no longer feel that's an urgent requirement because their current request is for 2026. Primary school major renovations. Let's see if they even have that on here. Not even on here anymore.
To the TPS school building updates and renovations facilities study.
So they're just looking to change it to a study, I guess. But that's for 25,000.
And what year's that for?
They have it in 24. I would like to just entertain going through this to see if we can stay consistent with the projected plan before we change it too much. Town hall, the post office, the old town hall HVAC, Adam had it. He had it on 23, he now has it on
24. Yep.
Yeah, he has it on 24. As we're looking at that, just keep in mind that 25, the post office paint will have to stay on the list because we're obligated under contract, the post office for that. Fire department roof, we already funded that. Isn't that correct, Gene?
I'm sorry?
Didn't we already fund the roof on the fire department?
Yeah.
So the so that'll be split. The roof is already funded, so you can, if people want to scratch that out. The HVAC and flooring is the, actually what that line item should be on 2023.
And what did you say, Matt, about the COVID money?
I'm seeking to use ARPA funding for the HVAC.
Would it be your recommendation to keep that on our current list as well as a capital item? This is just our 5-year plan anyway, so it's,
I don't know how you would say it, right? I mean,
Well, we don't have,
it kind of goes without saying that if we find an alternative source of funding that's not taxpayer.
yeah, but this is just our 5-year plan, so we're really not explaining where the funds are coming from at this point. Is that correct, Gene?
That is correct. I would personally keep it on there.
Okay.
Yeah, because if it's not eligible
Yeah.
for ARPA, then it will still need to be done.
And it would need to stay on for next year because ARPA funds expire at 2024, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And we already talked about the highway truck. That was currently on our list anyways. So moving to 2024, is that the truck that we have on the list now?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one we're funding.
So that
Take
one's,
that off.
you guys can, that's on 2023 right now anyways, so that one there. Old Town Hall and windows. Adam moved that up to 2026. It just makes our life easier if they gave us a new date to move it to. On the 2024 map, we have police headquarters feasibility options and study, where we just went through that, the 3-department. Should we relabel that as to public safety buildings? Or public safety, highway?
Yeah.
Study? Yeah. So public safety, highway studies is what we'll relabel that, police headquarters.
And that's what the committee decided to have a professional do a study for this.
Nope, so I can answer that question real quick for you. Is the committee had just went through and they got the needs of the 3 departments. That was it. So now it gets sent back to the Board of Selectmen. The Board of Selectmen is going to decide where it goes next. Whether it goes forward to actually do the study, or if it's going to come back to capital. Because it has to go to capital, get approved on the town warrant before it could end up in building and facilities. So there's quite the process ahead of us for that. Study. That has a value of 150,000 on that, Matt? Leave that alone? Okay.
For the study,
Yeah. Seems a little heavy,
a
no?
little rich.
Yeah. 75 maybe?
Yeah.
So if everybody could change that value to 75,000?
So cutting it in half means it's more than a little rich. It's
Right.
times one.
No, but it's,
Yeah. Feasibility studies are
But try to-
conceptual. They don't come in at such high prices.
yeah, yeah.
So what's the difference between the options study and what's already been determined, the needs of the different departments?
All we did was identify their needs. There is no study, there's no opinions, there's nothing given. It's just we identified what the fire department needs, what they currently have, what their needs are to get them to where they need to be currently, and what their projected growth would be. The same thing with
Police and highway.
police and highway, sorry about
Okay,
that.
what would this study be doing?
So I would assume that if you engage with whether it was an architect or somebody in that profession, they would take all the information that we generated, because we have everything, what they're gonna need for storage, what they're gonna need to house their equipment, what they need for offices and personnel and meeting rooms and all this other foolishness. They're gonna come forward with their recommendation, whether it's 1 building, 2 buildings, 3 buildings, and what that would, a rough guess as to what the budget would be on something like that. That's what I would assume would come out of that.
And then, the device itself.
Does that answer your question?
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm just.
Yeah, other than being further down the road with it and getting some factual stuff, it would be unfair for me to just blurt out nonsense that has no value to it.
Yeah, the library's gone through this quite a few times, and it's cost the town quite a bit of dough. So when's the right time to do something like this?
Well, since you wanted to bring up the library, the right time to do it is if you decide to bring anything forward, you take it all the way to the finish line and find out what the end results are. Is you can't ask the people to contribute more money, because that is still very current in their heads, to contribute money for a study when you don't go to the end. The highway department of the 3 is in the most need of the problems that we have right now that's facing the 3 departments. It's very obvious when you ride by and you see a temporary office trailer outside that's costing the town extra money each month. It's not a ton of money, but it's money. It's money that takes away from something else. It's been identified that there's a problem. So that's why it was brought forward, and collectively as a group within the town, we're trying to come up with a proper plan to address these things. They're not going to go away, they're only going to get worse. And as far as what you need to do over there, I think there's been multiple conversations with the director of the library.
I'm just saying, it's cost the town quite a bit of money so far.
Yep.
I'm not advocating
Yep.
for the library right now, I love it, but, I'm not,
Yep.
I'm just using it as an example of, getting studies done and more studies done and more studies done. They all cost money. And so at what point
Okay.
is the right time to do it instead of wasting the money?
Okay.
And that's, it's just, it's
Okay.
an up in the air question. It's not, I don't want the answer from you.
Okay, so since we're up in the air, I'm going to give you my personal thoughts on it, okay? The reason why I raised my hand about those 3 departments, because I recognize the needs. I recognize them for a long time, that they have needs there. I took the experience that I have as 32 years in the business of doing this and went through and terrorized the 3 departments to make them really bring the stuff in, and I'm sure I aggravated them, but made them give me the information that we needed. We didn't have to pay anything from anybody, okay? We got, all that is well documented, and they all worked very hard to put together a very complete outline of what they need and where they are today. That didn't cost us anything. So that is totally different than what you're proposing with the library. You were at...
I'm not proposing anything for the library.
Wait, you brought it up. Okay, I'm not saying you...
Just zip that.
Wrong word. The exercise that you went through with the library, okay, is that better for you? You hired in an architect and you were at their mercy to sit there and listen to what they thought you needed, instead of us creating what we need to give it to an architect and say, this is what we need, figure out how we're gonna make this work. Now, the town planner was also involved, and we're way off track, and this is gonna end really quick. The town planner was also involved, and why was he involved? Because he has to be involved because of the land use and make sure that we can fit this where we need to be. There's a lot to it. If you watch some of those meetings, you'll get all that information, but I don't want to go any further off of that because we're in capital, we're not in that studies group. On Tuesday, tomorrow night, it's gonna come before the selectmen, 7 o'clock. Join the meeting and you'll be able to get a lot of answers out of that, I'm sure. So anyways, getting back to this, we have our capital list, projected 5-year plan. Is it a consensus that we want to continue to put $360,000 towards matching the Chapter 90 funds for the streets and roads?
Absolutely.
Ellie, I'm going to go around the table.
Yeah, I like it.
Shirley?
I do. Just one comment. I am concerned, though, because it is taking out of the highway department for their equipment, understanding that we don't have a place to.
It's taken out of every department,
True.
because none of this money is the highway department. It's the town capital project, so it's taken away from every department. Ken?
No, absolutely.
Ben?
Absolutely.
I'm for it.
Okay, so brings us down to where we are. We have about $740,000 earmarked, assuming that everything stays consistent. She doesn't have a red pen in her hand, so I'm not in trouble yet. Stays consistent, so on 22 that we had put through, was all the highway stuff that we had on there. So 36. $385. That put you over a little over $400,000 on that equipment. Is that what we want to do? We want to move those three ahead.
All for next year, Mike?
Yep. That's what we have to do in the next 5 years.
So that would be for 2024.
Yep, 2024. So we have the highways that were, I'm just using the 3-year plan as a baseline so far that we have. So
Well, I think this time we wanted to fund that big highway truck, but we just didn't have the money, so that's pretty important for next time around.
Correct.
Down to space. Or there's space for one, is that?
they have space for one truck, yes, Sally.
Barely.
Well, he said he could fit it. I didn't ask him by how much.
So are we limiting ourselves to how many we would do next year, or we're just going to try to add up the money and disperse?
Well, I don't want to be careless and just put in $2 million worth of projection when we know right now we have roughly $740,000. There's things in the pipeline, but until it's in our budget, nothing's there until it's there.
So here's a new concept. Maybe I don't know, got bumped, and maybe I bumped my head or something.
You might have.
Would it make sense to try to look at every department and sort of prioritize one thing for each department, their priority, their highest priority?
Yeah, that's one way of doing it.
Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't really know what the situation is with the oil tanks at the school. I just know that we've had some issues with oil tanks that have cost us a lot of money. And I'm just wondering if we somehow maybe want to get proactive about that?
Yep, and I'm 100% on board with you on that. The only problem I have with this, and I had this conversation with Gene this morning, is we're not given enough information to support.
Don't disagree with that. I
Okay,
agree.
I was given an opinion,
Right.
and opinion's hard to go on, because if you have one school that has a 5,000 gallon tank and you're trying to put in 10,000 gallon tanks at other schools, especially if they're only using 15,000 a year.
Right. It shouldn't be based on
there's-
whether somebody can make a trip up there or not.
there's a lot of considerations with that, because diesel fuel, to everybody's dismay, goes bad.
Right.
And you can't just draw it down 25 to 50% and keep filling it up, because sooner or later, you're gonna have contaminated fuel. You have to, there has to be some sort of fuel management in that to make it work, when you're dealing in large volumes like that.
Oh, I agree.
I would like, in the oil tank, that, especially after what we just went through with this building here, everybody's on pins and needles, like,
Right.
hopefully we don't have a problem somewhere else. It has to be addressed, but I would like good information in order to address it. If you wanted to put it on, I'm not opposed to putting it on anywhere on the list, but we would need some good backup information on that. And I think they seriously should look at how they award their contracts on the oil. If we're gonna pay a minimum of 3,500 gallons per building, and you have 3 buildings in one driveway, it just doesn't make any logical sense to me that we would agree to that.
Completely
I
agree.
would rather pay an extra 10 cents a gallon than to agree to putting in that kind of money in the ground, especially at today's rate.
Well, the other thing is, you want to start off
Each
with what's
building's
the
gonna have
useful life of an oil tank, you know?
You can have
I don't even know.
$40,000 worth of fuel in every single tank, just sitting there.
Right.
You start thinking in those terms, it changes things a little bit.
And hopefully, if we go with this new scoring,
I think it's gonna, help us,
might
and
force
hopefully it
them to do a
helps
little
the
bit more
departments a
homework.
little bit, just, it was a little confusing for me, but, and Ben had the same issue that I had last year, so I was able to talk him off the ledge this year.
I appreciate it.
But to take the chief's idea, Mike, would it be worthwhile to say, well, this year the fire department got the new truck, next year let's award highway with a big ticket, and
Yep.
sort of cycle through the departments?
When do we have to have this 5-year plan done, Matt? No, for the warrant, when's that get sent out to the printer?
Well, ideally, we wanted to have it finalized in enough time for FinCom to be able to think about it before their town hearing, which is the 14th of April?
12.
12. So we really, we want to get it done pretty quickly, so it can be circulated, people ask questions.
Although it doesn't need any action, right? It's just the
It's not binding, it doesn't need, except for the first year, which, when you're asking for the
That it's
actual
more
money. The other 4
information,
years
right.
are just, they're informational, but they should be thoughtful, because
Yeah.
Right. Okay, got it.
Yeah, 5-year plan, and to put stuff on and not give it a lot of thought, and then you look at it over the years, even a 3-year plan,
Yeah.
and, you know, people look at, and I'm surprised, I mean, I think in the past, we've had a few comments, well, why isn't what we put out there for the town warrant, and now you're changing it? So I think we have to give it some good thought.
And I need to correct myself. It's not 740,000. Because if we decide to do the special stabilization account, it'll be 640,000.
Why?
Because the special stabilization account, the concept is to take $100,000 a year out of our free cash, put it into that special stabilization account, so then in year 5, there would be $500,000 in there. And then, like this past year, we just decided to put that truck on for $750,000. Capital would only have to come up with $250,000 because it's already built up a reserve for that purchase.
Well, when we get to that conversation about the stabilization capital fund, I have a couple of things to say, but I don't want
No, that's fine.
Get around
Yep,
this.
yep, no, that's fine, but it's important to consider that as a possibility. So if it is a possibility, also the 360,000 to match the Chapter 90 is also a possibility. So if we're considering both of those, it reduces what our capital budget would be. And then my suggestion is going to be very shortly that we after we go through this, I like the chief's suggestion that we consider something from each department. That could be some sort of baseline, but I would like to meet again on Friday if that meets for works for everybody. Thursday or Friday. But I'd like to get this done this week, so that way we don't have to worry about the finance department, the finance committee being held up. I don't think this is something we're gonna get to right now unless somebody's got a good
I think we
idea.
can come up with some suggestions, but let's take
Right.
one bite of the elephant and decide whether or not whether we want to do that separate, your idea, the,
Stabilization?
yeah.
Yeah.
But we have to have a whole discussion about that,
Right.
right?
Yep.
But that's a long discussion. I think it's longer than 5 minutes.
But we're here, so we can solve one problem while we're here today.
Can we have this conversation today where it's not on our agenda, Matt?
Well, probably not then.
Does everybody have a copy of the agenda?
No.
I'll go get one.
It's on the door. Get out.
But if we took the money for the highways, the big truck, money for stabilization fund, that would be a lot of the money we have to spend for next year, right? Those three items. Wouldn't be all of it, but it would be a chunk of it.
All right, let's just try to go down through it and see if we can make a good suggestion as to what we're gonna do here.
Oh, yeah.
What was the cost for replace the oil tanks
140,000
total?
per. There's two different tanks. Just for informational purposes only. The elevator wing roof is the last roof to be done on this building. That needs to be done on this building. The other one's gonna be sent out for bid and get on the schedule. The last one that we didn't fund was the elevator roof. And hopefully Gene can help me with this. Did we allow for an alternate on the main roof?
We did.
We did.
We changed the language to that.
The only concern at the time when we did it, I felt that the numbers would have worked, that we would have been able to do this, but in light of our recent surge in costs for everything, for oil, rubber, and all this other nonsense, we could see that we might not have enough to do that. It's something that we should get done, because it leaks on a regular basis coming into that elevator. Fortunately, it's minor leaking. It hasn't impacted the elevator at all, but that'll be a major expense if we mess that thing up. Yes.
So I just some quick math here. If we took 360, this is for next year now, for the highway paving, 100,000 for the stabilization, 215 for the plow sander, and 2 oil tanks. That comes to about $900,000, which is not exactly what we have, but it's in that million-ish ballpark.
What was the price for the, that you put, Dick, for the stabilization?
100,000.
100,000, okay.
And I got the 215 from this highway.
Yep.
So that would keep the paving going. It would help start the stabilization fund. And it would give highway some of that big equipment.
Yep.
And the oil tanks were kind of a concern, I think, so.
They are, I don't think anybody in the room could answer how old they are. We don't know what the age of them are.
Well, which ones were they again? Primary? Primary, yep.
Yeah, primary and
And
middle school.
Okay, all right, so
Yeah, there are,
I'm not sure if,
Primary might be old, I don't know about the middle school.
well, there was a spill down at the middle school years ago. It was a sensor, sort of like happened here, but it was an outside tank. I'm just trying to remember if they replaced that or not, or, I'm just trying to remember. I thought,
The two tanks that they have are underground tanks that they're talking about,
okay.
going from underground to
All right,
above.
so that changes that then.
The,
I would say put them, this is just a suggestion. We're doing FY '24, but if we put those two as number 1 and 2 on FY '25, and then maybe we have it on the list and we can get more information and try to pin them down to.
I would be more
information.
comfortable than that than putting it on next year. There's a lot of different considerations we have, and everybody has their own feelings on different things throughout the town government. But some of the things that I actually know about is our rooftop units. We had 4, was it, Matt? Yeah. We have 1 that's currently functioning, that handles the second floor. That's a problem.
But is that even on his list?
It's on
that's-
Adam's building list. Yeah, that's $85,000 that was put on that.
Well, so we already have one account that's in a capital item that has been approved by town meeting, and the language was written broadly enough for the money to be used either for the rooftop units or the outside on the first floor. So they all need to be replaced, but the
Right.
ones that are broken are the ones on the roof.
Yeah.
So they will get first priority. We'll be putting those out to bid as soon as the engineering company comes back to me with the load requirements and all the rest. So that would leave these 2 here on the first floor that are behind the building
Yeah.
that need to be done.
The ones on the roof are heating and cooling.
Heating and
The
cooling.
ones out here are just cooling?
Cooling.
Okay. So you would be comfortable holding off on, or pushing those out a little bit, that capital item?
Well, as between all of them, yeah, those can wait longer.
Yeah, it was just, we have so many things with that,
Right.
as their own, they're very important. The majority of the people here don't have the benefit of knowing all the different things that are out there, so.
But just looking at it from what our financial risk is, it would be lousy for this building not to have air conditioning in the middle of the summer. But it's catastrophic if an
Yeah.
oil tank fails.
Correct.
So
Yep.
there's just really not in the same league.
Yep. Do you have any insight on those oil tanks? Do you think it's something that we should have on 24 versus 25? Or you don't have enough information either?
I could never get enough information, right? Because the more you look into these things, the more you learn and you alter your course. But if I had to write my exam book right now, I would say the middle school tank has to go. I'm not convinced the primary school tank needs to.
Okay. Thank you. So based on the statement that was just made by the town administrator, and given our current conditions of the oil spill here, I would be inclined to, myself, recommend that we keep that oil tank on for 24, so it gets done the very next,
which one?
the middle school. The primary school, right?
Middle school.
Middle school? Okay.
That's the smaller one, that there's a fuel management issue there.
So is that
So for 24,
for a 10,000 gallon thing? Because
Yes,
that's what the-
yep, it's a second line item.
Or is it,
I believe that project is
is
to
that what's
replace,
needed? And you were saying that.
Well, that,
diesel
they're,
fuel goes or.
yeah, they're gonna
goes
have
downhill
to, they're gonna have to get better information when they get to the point where they're gonna send that out. And that'll be, that has to be done through the management of the town between the, I would think, between the superintendent and the town administrator to come up with a proper plan as to how to get the right tank in there. And it goes a little further because they have their fuel contracts that plays into, according to the presentation, was part of the logic on the, going with a 10,000 gallon, replacing 10,000 for a 10,000.
And those are their first two priorities, so.
Yeah.
Yep. No, and this is what we need as a committee, is to have a recommendation, something that's backed up, and to go with just an opinion or best guess, it doesn't help us because it's hard to
Right.
support it, that's all. Fortunately, the town administrator had knowledge of that, and he could help us through it. So we have,
Roads, highway stabilization, and middle school tank for FY '24.
So the one tank was 140,
yeah,
so that would bring me down to 750. So
So this is, did we already do FY '23?
yeah, we voted
That's
on
done.
that one.
Yeah.
23 is already done, that's what's going on the warrant, that's what we did last time. That was,
Okay.
that was the fire truck, the 360 for the
Roads,
roads.
Yeah.
the kitchen stuff.
The 2 appliances for the kitchen, for the school department. And the cameras for the town hall and the police department.
yep.
I'll throw one thing out there as well. I think maybe if we have the money, FY '23, get those cafeteria tables replaced before someone gets hurt.
We don't have we already spent $1,260,048. Because it was.
No, I'm talking about
It was
for-
44 until you
Something
corrected your
24.
calculator, went to 48.
I'm talking about '24.
Yeah, 24, all right.
Oh, all right,
Yeah.
that's what I meant. I say things, Mike, but you can't take me at face value.
Believe me, I lose track of fiscal years
Oh,
too.
God.
The what?
Especially because it starts on July 1.
Does that make sense, though?
I lose track of fiscal years too.
it's my birthday.
So, the roads, the stabilization fund, the proposed stabilization fund, and the oil tank is 600,000. The cafeteria tables was 30,000. What about the plow truck?
When is the plow truck, is that being bought next year because there is room for one more truck? Or is it being paid for last year because there's room for one more truck?
There is no truck, there's no truck currently approved. So he was looking for a truck this coming fiscal year and one the following fiscal year. It didn't make our list, so he's still looking for a truck. He has room for a truck, not room for 2 trucks, so.
So why on FY '22 and FY '23 do we have the highway dump truck? So it's already there.
Because he has 2 different trucks that are on there.
Okay,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
But we've already got it there, so why wasn't it funded to go along with your consistency with following our plan here?
I don't know, you'd have to ask yourself that question. I could go back through the grading list and see where you graded it. Everybody
no.
voted, no, but everybody voted to fund the things that we funded. We had the The truck that, for the fire department, last year it was on for 600,000, this year it was on for 750 due to price increase or whatever, and no pickup trucks have skyrocketed, so I would imagine that the larger trucks went up as well, and that's probably what helped take away from our budget. We've already, the budget that I proposed, working budget that we were given was 1.1 million, we exceeded that by 160,000, so, and that wasn't easy to do, because there was some thought as to whether or not we could even do it, so, just,
So, Mr. Chairman, what do you have down right now for FY '24?
right now, I just have the roads for 360, the proposed stabilization fund for 100, the oil tank at the primary school, the middle school for,
140.
middle school, for 140, and the cafeteria tables in the primary school for
Okay.
30. That brings you to 630,000.
So I had everything there, except I had the highway truck for 215 and
Yeah, that's what so before I put that on there, I was just making sure we had
Okay.
consensus that, do we want to add the highway truck to this? Yes,
I
sir.
would.
Ellie?
absolutely.
I'm not in favor of the school tables, but and I'm not in favor of the highway truck if there's no place to put it.
There is a place to put one truck.
I know, so the one is not being funded in FY '23 then.
Nothing is being, nope. It was requested for 23, but we didn't fund it. Or recommended it to be funded. We haven't funded anything, actually. Town meeting will determine that.
So I'm not in favor of a highway truck if there's no place to put it.
Okay, so if I tell you that there's a place to put it, you're in favor of it?
Yes.
Okay. Shirley?
Yeah.
Ken, you already said that. Ben?
Yes.
All right. So we have the highway truck on for 215. That brings you to 845,000.
215, I thought it was 183,240. So,
That's the snow blower tractor or something.
Yeah, again, you're looking at, so,
okay.
all right. On our list that we put through, the 3-year list, those numbers are no longer valid because things have changed. If you look at their highway submission, it's 215,000.
And that's for 24.
Correct. We're working on 24 right now, yeah. You have 255,000 is not, we're not obligated to use all the money, by the way. It will carry over. But there's 245,000 left out of the,
Well, if that's the case,
Could we do that other air conditioning unit with that, Bill?
which one? For the town hall? Yeah, I would hold off on that first through the recommendation of the administrator. I know talking with Adam, the key system that we have here, the vendor is, I think they're dying off as we go down the road, but now he's back to square one again where he no longer has a vendor that will supply that type of key system. So he's one lock failure away from having a problem. So he wants to upgrade the key system if that's a consideration. Before we get into that, on 22, we also, wait a minute.
we should do the elevator as well then, right? If it's leaking water.
The elevator roof, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
90.
90,000.
Yeah.
Could do both of those.
Which one? The lobby windows and the, oh, what are
No,
you
the
talking
key
about?
system and the
Oh,
elevator.
yeah. Everybody agree to the roof on the, yes?
I'm certainly beyond that one.
Yep. I just, and this may help you with that. Adam has spring and fall every year, he has somebody go up and patch the roofs to maintain them to where they are now. So we're spending money on that, and I'm sure it's not a great deal of money, but we're spending money on that, but it's identifying that it's definitely a problem if you have somebody up there twice a year to patch them. That, and we get that completed, we should be good on roofs here for a good 20 years. We did 16 or 17, we did that roof on the gymnasium. We're doing the main roof up here. And then we have, the elevator roof is the only one left on the building. Shirley on the roof? Mm-hmm. You already said yes?
Yeah, I did.
Yes. All right. So that brings us to 935.
So what year are we talking now?
We're still in 23, we're still in 24.
All right.
We're still in the 24 one. Do we want to do the, let's just look through our list and see what we had before.
You've got a.
I just have trouble just jumping on something without making sure I look at the rest of our list.
You've got a sidewalk tractor and a lawnmower for highway.
And the lawnmower, they do all the fields in town, other than the school?
Correct, that's my understanding.
Yep.
Got too many lists around there. There we go. Well, the lawnmower is an easy one. That's only 37,000.
Why does it say 15? Went up that high? In the 5-year plan, this is the only the paper I brought. I didn't
Oh,
bring
okay.
it with me, I didn't bring anything.
Yep, no, that's fine.
Looking at that, this number here.
Yep. Just looking to see if I have anything that will,
So the lawnmower was under 2023, so we're moving that to,
Yeah, it was 2022. It's here. Oh, I see, this is in 2023 is the lawnmower?
under John's 5-year plan, Ellie. This-
Yeah, no, that's what Dick has, so that's what we're talking about.
I guess.
Well, we didn't fund it for next year, the
Well, no, that was-
2023, which we've already,
Brush cutting tractor with side mower, highway mower attachments. This is 15,000, that's 174.
There's this one.
Oh, okay, 37. Were you just thinking now, or?
yeah, I'm thinking you.
I'm ready to move forward.
All right, then you got a suggestion, you just jump on up.
Mike, under the 5-year plan for the school, in the FY 2024, they have a tractor replacement.
Yeah.
What is that? That was for.
I'm probably not the best one to ask that question.
And the DW stands for?
Let me just find it.
What does DW mean?
I don't know, might be,
Because DHS would be Douglas High School.
oh, DW, I don't know.
DW would be,
Let me just look at, oh,
District-wide.
what?
Oh,
District-wide.
district-wide,
Oh,
okay.
district-wide, okay. So what's the tractor replacement, I wonder?
so it's a John Deere tractor that they have. This is the same tractor that was on our capital list within the last couple of years. Wasn't last year. It might have been last
It
year.
was.
Last year.
It was on last year, and
Yeah.
why it didn't get funded, and it could have been through my comments that I had on there. They had given us backup documents, and they had spent 70% of the value of the tractor in the previous 2 years, and I just couldn't understand how you could spend 70% of the value and then look to replace it. If you spent that kind of money on it, it must have been worthwhile saving. So that's why it didn't, in my mind, that's why it didn't get funded. I still don't know what the condition of this infamous tractor is.
So what you have so far, Mike, is about $1,900,000?
$935,601, because the cafeteria table is at $30,601.
Did we throw the lawnmower in?
We haven't put anything in there as of yet. I was gonna ask Matt a question, on the highway department request for the sidewalk plow. We're obligated to keep the sidewalks open for the school department, otherwise they can't have school, so it becomes a problem. If we had to sub that out, that's gonna cost us a lot of money. Hypothetically, if the thing broke, because John's saying that this thing's in pretty poor condition, it's a $170,000 ticket item, which would max out our request for next year if that went on without the lawnmower. I'm just thinking between the two of them, the sidewalk plow could be more of a problem if we had a heavy snow year, if we had to sub that out to somebody.
I think he would agree with that.
Yeah.
There's plenty of guys with lawnmowers on trailers. There's not
Right.
too-
Yeah, well, even the school department has lawnmowers all over the place, so we could probably, in a pinch,
Yeah,
try to borrow one.
I don't know anyone that has a sidewalk plow.
No, I don't either,
No.
and that's why I'm bringing it up.
Never seen anyone that rents those.
It's not something that happens. Yeah. Especially if that's an articulating one in the sunny. It's not like you take a Bobcat with a snowblower on it. That puts us at $1,105 and $5,000. Here I go with the $50 for the truck again. $5,601.
That includes the tables for the school, too?
Yep, yep. That's what I had on the list, so if we chose to do the sidewalk plow.
I'm for doing the sidewalk plow.
You bet.
No way. I said no last year, and I said no the year before, and it's still safe.
Yeah. So other than the, they do all the sidewalks, all the way down through Main Street and everything, correct?
Within two, they only have to if they have to do it, and I don't believe anybody walks to school anymore. But then again, I'm not downtown when people are walking to school. But why they do it up by the cemetery in Old Douglas is because there's the guy that runs his motorized wheelchair downtown or down to get his lottery tickets. Now, that's a big expense, I think, to make it easy for this one guy to buy lottery tickets.
I think they were doing that long before he got in his little motorized scooter.
Yeah, well, that school is a VFW that's not used anymore,
Okay.
that particular school,
Yeah.
so it's no longer needed to
Yeah.
do any of those sidewalks.
Yeah, it still doesn't eliminate the need for downtown and the ones that are within 2 miles, as you said, so. I don't know. I'm not gonna,
Yeah.
everybody's up to their opinion, and I appreciate your opinion on that. So I don't want it to go the wrong way. You think I'm just bickering back and forth with you over trying to justify the sidewalk plow. It's something that one of the department heads said that he needs in order to continue the services that he provides to the town. And that's all I can go on, I guess. Me, myself. The committee as a whole has to come up with whether or not they want to fund it. Judging by the comments, I think that the majority wants to fund, put that on the, but just, it's only the capital plan. It doesn't even, it has to come before us again next year. So all we're doing is creating a capital plan, and we're trying to stay as consistent as possible. But as you can see with the current one, we had Gilboa Street on there, and that got taken off because something else happened. So Matt also talked about the HVAC for the fire department, and if he's able to secure ARPA funds to do that, it's on our capital list, but it'll get taken off our tally. So, anyways. So I think we exhausted 2023 with the stuff that we had come up with in the list, as I'll just reread it as what we agreed to as we were going through it, was the match to Chapter 90 funds for $360,000. If the stabilization fund does get established, $100,000 towards that. The middle school, replace the oil tank, the 10,000 gallon oil tank, $140,000. The Douglas Primary School cafeteria tables for $30,601. The plow truck for the highway department for $215,000. The elevator roof for $90,000, and the sidewalk plow for $170,000. That brings us to $1,105,000.
For FY '23.
24.
23 is done, 24.
Yeah, that's what I was,
Yep.
Can we push the envelope and put the key system in for town hall?
That would be an answer for the town administrator. We're currently at our suggested plan at $1,105,000. He wants to add, suggesting that we add another 30, is it 38,000? 38,000, that would bring us to about 43,000 over our projected budget.
I still think you have room for it.
Key system?
It's under 6 digits, and
You bet.
Yeah. Key system, Ellie?
I don't care.
Okay.
Yes. Julie. Oh,
Ben? Brandon? Yeah. So that brings us to, for 23,
24.
1,024. Ellie's the one that put 23 in my head. Sorry,
Yeah,
Ellie.
that's what you're confusing me with, so.
No, you're confusing me. Oh, now it's my fault. I said it one time, now I did it. 1,143,601 for fiscal year '24. What about '25? Gotta get my little thing here. Elevator roof.
So if you think of motorized equipment, You've got police, and, I mean, the fire and highway, which are really two big ones, and then police cars, right?
Well, police cars is in their budget.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can solve the fire departments with this stabilization fund, at least supplement the big hits that we get every 5 years or so.
So if we're looking ahead 2 more years now to 25, if we do 100,000 for the stabilization, another 360 for the paving, is there another big chunk, chief? That would be good for fire, if we're gonna try to share the wealth a little bit, or a big chunk at school or something, but,
Well, you've
I
got,
have the ambulance listed
yeah,
at 300,000.
and
But
you've
that
got
would
your,
probably come out of reserve receipts for appropriations.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that because I had seen that on there and I thought that you had set up something that 50,000 a year gets put aside for that. Is that correct?
Good.
and you've got the ladder truck on.
Yeah,
Well, his department needs to strategize to figure out how
Yeah.
they can come up with a plan to get us onto this 5-year rotation with the equipment.
you wanna do a second fuel oil tank that next year then? Or not yet?
In 25.
Yeah, it probably would make good sense to put it on there to address it, because we're still shell shocked from what we're going through here. So we have 360, we still want to keep 360 on there for Chapter 90?
You bet.
Okay. We still want 100,000 on there for the stabilization fund? Proposed stabilization fund? I felt these little things running in my forehead, so I figured I better look up at you, Ellie. 140 for the oil tank at the primary school?
Yeah,
So I notice highway has another, the John Deere loader
yep.
is 230.
but we're still.
Is that the backhoe, Matt?
Well, which is it? What does it say?
John
Deere
Deere
loader.
loader.
So it's the loader.
There were so many responses, it was indistinguishable.
It says
Almost
loader.
like the fire chief talking into his radio this morning. So the backhoe
No,
or the loader?
Matt, it says loader, so I'm
It
It
guessing.
says loader, so it must be the big loader,
This is for-
230,000, yeah.
Are we
Because I think
talking-
Is that enough money for a front end?
No,
Wait a minute,
I don't think so.
we're talking 2025.
2025, yeah, this is just something that,
Brush cutting tractor with side mower is what's on his list.
So we have to look at the previous year that we didn't fund those certain items to see if we want to get them in 20.
Yeah,
so let's start off, let me go back to where we were on our 3-year plan. So the running track got put off the 26th according to the school department's request. So that's off our list. The school department's requesting 25,000 for a study on their renovations to the primary school.
Well,
And we have the HVAC replacement. That was on 23, but it's on Adam's 24 request.
so we had things to add to 24.
No.
I thought-
I'm just, this is where you and I get messed up on this. So looking at our 3-year, he has it on 24, we already finished 24, so now we're looking at 25. So I'm just looking at the things that are on there. So we already covered the highway truck on 24. That's on our 23 list. So the town hall HVAC replacement, Matt, do you have any, keep that on our capital list? Because that's in tough shape down there. That's not something we would get through green communities or anything like that.
No, they won't do cooler room.
I
Okay.
have a question here, and
Yes.
I was going
Yep.
to, since we're talking about the post office
Yep.
and senior center, how much dough is in the Moses Wallace devise?
I don't have that offhand.
Is that something that, I always think of it as something that was set up to pay for capital expenses type stuff?
Yeah, I don't know anything about it, so
And does Diane Terry still?
No, it's Jerome Jessup.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Jerome
right,
does it.
Jerome does it, so, but do they have it in the stabilization type of fund?
It is in those trust fund sections, yeah. There's a piece that is non-expendable and a piece that's expendable.
Okay, for Moses Wallace devise.
Correct.
Because I think that might be something to look into, to see and talk to Jerome, I don't know how much money's in there. The last thing they did was the clock up in the tower, but it was more of a prettiness type of thing, a nice thing to do with this money, and it was. But if there's money being made, and that maybe some of that could help on window repair and
Yeah.
because I think that's what it was intended to do.
could you find out some of that for us, Gene?
Yeah.
As to what that-
I don't think there's a lot of windows over there. I did look.
Oh, yeah, no, not saying that, just identify what the value is,
Yeah, well,
what the amount is in that account and what we could actually use it for.
That I had. I actually had
Yeah.
a similar idea a couple of years ago until Adam told me the number of windows that were there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, but that's just that many less than.
Correct, correct.
I don't think there's a lot.
So the HVAC replacement in the Old Town Hall / post office, is probably something that we should do because we're obligated to have heat in there for the
Yeah, but
tenants.
the other part of this is renegotiate your lease from the post office or whatever, or include stuff like this in the payments, or where do those just go to the general fund coming in? Maybe that could be something with the stabilization capital fund. It could, but you want to sort of isolate it for just town hall repairs, and so then that would be the Moses Wallace devise,
The rental payments are general fund money. You can't designate general fund money. You have to transfer it to something to do
Right,
it. Like, we
exactly.
can't just, yeah.
No, but, just, how much, does that include the heat of and electricity? Or do they pay that themselves? The post office?
They pay their utility bills.
They pay their?
It's a classic commercial lease.
But Adam is responsible for some repairs in that, so,
Yeah.
For the systems,
yes.
they have to work.
HVAC for the Old Town Hall, Dick?
Yeah, you bet.
Ellie?
I guess so.
Shirley?
Yes.
You three?
Yes.
It's easier that way.
I would throw the HVAC for the municipal on as well.
Where's that?
That was,
The 85,000.
Yes.
that's on our billing requests.
For 2024, right? That we didn't fund.
Correct.
Yeah, 85, right.
Yeah.
When it says municipal first floor electrical for 185, is that
senior center?
Yeah, that's,
Is that redoing all the is that kind of from
addressing issues that we have in here, this, and feel free to jump in if I'm off base, Matt. It's part of a bigger plan. If we can get to utilize the upstairs, then we have work to do upstairs, we have work to do downstairs to get the building under control, so it's usable in all the areas. So you're gonna see the first floor units, electrical. You get the architectural renovation for the upstairs, and you have the flooring and carpet. I did ask Adam about the carpet, even though he would like to replace it. It's not at a critical point for him as of yet. Jean would probably differ since she has a rip outside her door, but
There's a lot of things Jean would address, given the opportunity.
yeah. That's why we make her sit in the back of the room, so.
No.
So Mike, on the building list, item 6 is municipal first floor electrical for 185, but then the next year, item 11, municipal first and second floor renovation. So that's different than electrical.
Yeah, that overall renovation and reconfiguring the space within this building.
Okay.
They're important things to do, they're on the list, they keep them in the forefront, just like we, with the highway department and the fire and the police, and so it doesn't get forgotten, it's important stuff, but there's steps that have to happen in order for it to work. Is in order to expand upstairs, we gotta get rid of all the storage that's upstairs in order for them to be able to move up there. And so there's a lot that's in place in that.
So what do you have tentatively for 25?
So far,
Yeah.
we have 745,000.
So it's got the
So
road,
you got $400,000 left.
the stabilization,
Yep, the primary school oil tank, the Old Town Hall HVAC, and this HVAC system here.
so not the John Deere loader with plow?
I don't have that on as of yet because we didn't go through it. Before we put that thing on there, just to be fair, I'd like to consider the other departments that also have things that they have on there to make sure we're not just filling up the list without considering everybody that's asking us for things. The town clerk has,
Mine's clicking, because I was just going to bring up the town clerk's issues with the,
the town clerk is only, I got
Controlled
all these
system.
papers all over the place, trying not to mix them up with Brandon. The town clerk has they're obligated by the state, or required by the state, or mandated by the state, whichever way we want to word it, for record storage. And we've talked about this numerous times. And she has on there, the town clerk has on there $300,000 plus another, I think, $60,000
Right.
for climate control system. So the $300,000 for a separate vault area, the $60,000 is for climate control for these rooms over here where this storage is. Looking through the building, over the last year or so, I had talked to her about it, I talked to the town administrator about it as well. There's a potential of utilizing the old locker rooms downstairs and making that a self-contained storage area, which by state standards, dimensionally it works.
Yeah.
Being separate from the main facility, it's, because it's all block, it's easier to protect it in case of any catastrophic events. Has an elevator, it's easy access, it would be a good use of the space. The space currently is being used by one department, but one organization, not a department, organization. And we could accommodate them with other storage that we could utilize that. And that number should reduce, but we should put something into that to evaluate what it would take to get that to where it needs to be. Is Matt still behind you? Yeah. You think like $15,000 to $20,000 would be enough to do an evaluation on that? That's probably even heavy on that. Probably 10,000?
Yeah.
10,000 for an evaluation on that. And I've said it multiple times, Dick, you're new to the committee. I'm always in favor of being a little fat on the numbers to make sure they succeed. It all goes back to general fund anyways. And don't want to go over the top, but I like to have them a little heavy so that we make sure that we can do what we propose that we're going to do. So, taking a little off of our list, but I would like to put on there $10,000 for what we call it engineering, Matt?
Well, I guess you could, I mean, because those things have detailed specifications.
You're going to use an engineering service of some sort, whether it's an architect, so we just put engineering for a description. Or design,
Design is.
yeah, design, yeah,
So that's for 2025.
yep.
Why does it say 60 here and 80 there?
60, oh,
That's a tricky way to do it.
town meeting fund.
It's a typo.
I think it's a typo. Because she did tell me that it was 60,000.
Well, we had it on our list.
She's going by our request form, right here. It has 60,000 on the top, it has 80,000 in the other category, town meeting funds,
So it should be 60.
60, yeah. But I don't believe those numbers are accurate. I think we're gonna put in 10,000 just for a design.
Designed for records, right?
Design for the
Area.
fire and water resistant vault.
What?
Fire and water
That
resistant
one's
vault.
300,000.
This is just for
Design. We're
design.
not building it, we're just gonna,
Oh, it's a design for this, I guess.
A vault is a physical thing, like a table,
a vault?
a vault. It's a safe. It's a big safe, big fat safe. And they're using that right now or something like that? Or-
A vault could be what Jean has 2 of them in her office, or a
Yeah.
vault could be an actual
Walking.
area that's controlled. It's in case, you could make a vault out of that room in there if you met the specifications for a vault.
So is that what she's looking for, is a vault?
She's looking for a place to store all her records. She needs 5,000 cubic feet, I think is what it is, and I think that one is 47 or 4,800 cubic feet. She's looking for a place to put all her records. So the thought that I had was if we took the 2 vaults out of Jean's office, the one out of Christine's room there, if you go downstairs to the locker room, you have a left side room, and then you have a larger right side room. You go in the left side room, you could put,
So these 2 are one now, one request. It's,
the thought is to make them one request, yes. Yep. Right now, those 2 pieces of paper identify 2 different things. One of them is a physical structure of some sort to put the records in. The $60,000 is the climate control, those 2 rooms that are over there that have all our antique books in it.
but that could be done downstairs.
That could be all done in one area. Yep.
But we need a design, an
Need a
engineering.
design. So if you stop and think about it, if you get all these records, it's going to do a lot of things. It's going to alleviate space concerns that the finance director has in their rooms. It's going to eliminate all the stuff that we have in those areas. Those areas become usable for something else, whether it's IT department, somebody could go in there and utilize that space. I don't know if anybody's ever gone up those stairs, but that closet, for lack of a better description that they work in, is a little inadequate as well. But that's not on our list today. So $10,000 for the design for the fire and water resistant vault.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything else while I'm writing this down? Help, please.
Something seems to have dropped off here, and I'm not really sure where it is. The fire alarm system here has never been, I know there was money somewhere, and it never
Yep.
really,
Yep, we have
Finished it.
$100 and some odd $1,000 that's sitting in an account for the fire alarm system. And that is on hold until we get to the point where we can design the space upstairs. Because it is, and Matt is correct, but he's adamant about the fact we will not invest any money into a fire alarm system until we have the roof that doesn't leak.
and that makes sense. I just was looking for some
Yep,
history and conclusion there.
right, yep.
So-
History was the first time you went to town meeting for the fire alarm was
Yep,
$28,000.
there wasn't enough,
And then
yeah.
it just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. Now it's 115,000, G, something like that,
Actually, Shirley has,
135, I think. it was.
135, yeah.
Well, I think we had to kick it up because we got to the point where it's no longer an extension of the existing fire alarm to the second floor. Now involves the fire alarm for the entire building because it's,
Right.
we can't get parts for it.
Right.
So it makes sense that we would try to get the work done on the electrical system, and so we can build that up and try to bring some of these.
Well, I think as soon as the roof is done, we're gonna move very quickly into the fire alarm.
Yeah, that money's already been, we don't need to put it on our list, that's already been approved.
Yeah.
That's just sitting there, so once,
That has a
as
hundred,
Matt said, once he's at a point where he's comfortable to move forward, he'll put out the RFP.
Yeah,
Yeah, RFP, yeah, RFP, yeah. Well, I'm trying to remember RFP, RFQ, but then
I get-
Right,
I'll
the
make
Q's
the
qualification
article,
proposal, yeah, okay.
Invitation for bids, IFB.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at FY '24 here. We could get the first floor electrical and the renovation stuff done for the 45.
Would we have money for the John Deere loader, the 230,
so what year are you talking?
25?
Okay.
You're talking 20.
But we're pulling stuff that was on 24.
Yeah.
Well, you still have plenty of room for the loader if that's what you want to put on there.
And I think those three items are important.
So let me just, where there we go. The loader is 230,000. Then we'll tally up where we're at. And you're saying the
Renovation,
renovation design?
yeah.
So if we're looking at the capital list, that FY '23 is the title, are we looking to do items 5, 6, and 7 then? The municipal HVAC, the first floor electrical, and then the architectural engineering renovation? Those three items?
Yeah.
For 260, 300,000 and change.
Do we want to do the first floor electrical prior to our renovation design? Matt? We probably should do our renovation design first. Unless you have identified what your needs are here and you're comfortable with it. I'm just,
So in the course of doing the design work in this municipal center for the standby generator, my hope is that we may have had some extra cash to look at the electrical system. Back in the day, I'm going to forget what years, there was a company, I think it was called Georgia Pacific or something Pacific, that made defective
Georgia Pacific. Yep.
and we have them in this building. So they will not trip. So I would think we need to do that for safety's sake before we can do the renovation.
Okay, yep. Yeah, I didn't know if it tied into the panel or if it was work on the first floor. Because
Unfortunately-
it called the first floor, so it's actually the electrical service.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's going to involve the entire electrical system for the building, and it'll be quite expensive because those breakers were identified in these small boxes that we have on both floors of the building. So
Yes.
I think we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but before then we get there, we'll have a really good estimate of what it's going to be. It's going to be more than that.
Thank you. Ellie?
What was where's the first floor? Is this the first floor?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Yes. No, this is the first one. This is the first one. Yeah.
It's the ground floor.
That's the police department.
The police are in the walkout basement. We're on
Don't
the
pay
first
attention to the
floor.
guy behind the curtain.
The first floor is the next floor up.
You're not getting anything from me for that, you know?
Uh-oh.
17,
So renovation design was how much?
29,
Are we doing that?
45,000.
That's a place.
33, 41,
Yeah.
4, 7, 8, 9.
So we're done with these two, I think, for now.
All right, so slow down for a minute. I think we're over.
You want me to add things up again?
No.
Wow.
We have to add, how much? 15,000 more or whatever? $15, sorry,
Going
Jen.
for it.
No, it was only $4 he had to do.
That's right.
I got 1,130,000. 1,130,000.
What do you have on your list?
Paving, 360. Stabilization, 100.
Yeah,
DPS tank,
Yeah.
140. HVAC, 60,000.
yeah.
For the post office. Town clerk, 10,000. Municipal electric, 185. Renovation, 45, and loader, 230.
All right, so
For
you
municipal
left out
HVAC.
your recommendation of the town hall HVAC for 85, so that's how I came up with 250.
Oh, I did leave that up, okay.
So what did you come up with?
I'm at $1,215,000, so we're $100,000 over, 115,000.
And yours includes the municipal HVAC.
Yeah, I had that in there because
Yeah.
that's what got written down there.
Yep.
That's pretty close then.
But you can go around the table, and I want to,
No, absolutely, no, we can do that. Do you have any adjustments to that?
No, I like it.
I do not like the architectural and community design for the, up there at all. Library comes first. And I've said that repeatedly for years.
Shirley?
I'm okay with this.
I'm good. What's the need here on this item?
Just keep in mind, we're 2 years out on the list that we're on now. What's that?
What's the need on this that we passed over?
Oh, the lobby windows. So the weather seal is gone in the windows down at the far end going in. At this point, it's a cosmetic thing.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a slight amount of energy loss through it because the seal's gone because of how windows work, but it's more of a cosmetic thing at this point. The frame and everything is in good shape. It's not going to affect that, but at some point, we need to do the glass, so. He did start off, what was that, 140,000 or something that he started off at, Matt, or 120?
Yeah, to replace
so,
everything.
And when Matt and I, Matt might have been involved in it, and Adam, we looked at it and came up with a suggestion to looking at just having the glass itself done. It's called reglazing, with the aluminum storefront windows is basically what this is. You can do that. And the frames, they would confirm that the frames are in very good shape, so you just need to do the glazing, which brought it down to 25,000. That's the long answer.
Okay.
But over the years, I'm sorry, may I?
Yes,
The
absolutely.
question?
Yep.
Over the years, how many years are we looking at? Do you think that's going to hold?
What, the windows themselves?
No, but the price and the quality.
Oh, no, the price is always going to go up.
Yeah,
Yep.
plus the frames.
The frames are, they're not gonna, whether you put new glass in it today or didn't put new glass in, it's not gonna affect the frame at all.
Okay,
The frame's still gonna be good.
All right.
So
take your
that's
word
not-
for it.
That's not gonna change. We're very close on the capital thing and where things do change, whether the town hall design came off and something else got put on, whatever, it's a couple of years down, a few little things moving around, but in general, I think we have a decent list. And even though we're a little bit over, I'm comfortable with the list if everybody else is. One minute.
We
Everybody
already,
good?
we already went around the room.
No, I'm just
Yeah,
making sure that
okay.
everybody's good, that's all. Gene has a comment for us, or a
Yeah.
question.
I do have a question. You were considering 75,000 for the public safety. Where did you put that?
75,000 for the
For
public.
the public safety facility?
Oh, the study, the highway study, public safety highway.
Oh, good point.
We didn't put anything in there yet because it hasn't gone to the next step. It has to go, we don't know where it's gonna, is the Board of Selectmen gonna recommend that it goes forward? Or are they gonna stop?
But you don't have it in 24 or 25.
To be determined, like highway and,
No, but I'm getting, so what you're saying, to be determined on the cost of the facilities, but what Gene is pointing out very quickly, and I'm trying to put my head around and figure out how I screwed up and bypass it. We don't have anything in there for a line item to address the cost it's gonna be to do the design engineering work for that.
And I will tell you that we used 90,000 as a placeholder.
Back in 2011?
6 years, yeah. Yeah,
I thought it was 120.
no, I think it was 90, don't quote me on it.
Right, and then when we did the library one, what year was that? You know, that was that 15 or
For what?
for, was that Vandenberg or whatever his name?
No,
No, but-
Charlie Van,
Yeah. No, I don't remember his name, so I don't know.
Yeah, Charlie.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't Vandenberg, because that guy's hit. Yeah, Charlie.
It's a Dutch name, though.
Was that 12 or 15?
Probably, what year?
Yeah, roughly. And I'm only using that for an example because I believe that was 90,000.
When did you start working here?
2017.
Okay, so it was before him, it might have been 15.
Yeah, 15, so that was 90,000 then, so,
But his was fancy dancy.
oh, I don't think so. I think
It
it
was
was,
architectural drawings.
yeah.
That's fancy dancy to me. It wasn't a study on pieces of paper, which I think are stupid.
well, I don't think the study that I did was stupid. I think it's valuable, so,
How much,
what,
how much did you get paid for it?
nothing.
Right, so
Yeah.
that's what you want to go for.
We
You're-
already
you're
did,
smart, you get smart people.
we already did that,
Yeah.
so what we're looking at now is to move to the next step, is what Gene has said, that we
Yeah,
overlooked putting it into our budget moving forward. I would like to just step back a little bit. Let's look at 2024 and see, make sure that's what we want to do in there. And I'm not looking to cut anybody out, but it's a very important thing that we have something in there for the design, because that problem with the office drill and everything is not going away. Can we get by a little bit? Yeah, we can get by a little bit, but it's not going to go away. It's not getting any better. We're already faced with the fact that he needs 2 trucks and he can only fit 1. So there's a problem.
Could we take out the school tables?
We can take out anything we want. What I want to do, I don't want to just cherry pick something. I want to just, as a collective group, just take a second to look at it and
I was wondering if the finance record could just find some money.
yeah. I would
That's
be.
going to help you today.
Uh-oh.
Actually, I would, if everybody's open to it,
I'm throwing a grenade.
if everybody's open to it, instead of taking it out, I would like to add a line item for it, because we're gonna revisit this again next year
Yeah.
and refine the list better than what we have now. We're kind of generalized, we're trying to be as accurate as possible, but I think we're getting a little too fussy with it.
Yes, because you don't have no guarantee what free cash is going to be in any of these given years.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So just add-
We're going on assumptions, so. Gene, would you suggest, or would you support $125,000 towards a dollar amount for that?
I think 75's low.
Yep.
You know, I wouldn't go below the 90.
No, and I'm just using that, we go back to the Charlie's thing, that was 90,000. And that was
That was just a renovation of the library.
I know that, but that was,
It's as opposed to building a new building, so you're probably are going to spend quite a
Three.
bit more.
okay. So if you're under, I think it's $300,000, it's 11%, and then if you're over $300,000, then it drops, the percentage drops down on the design fee. So you make sure that you have enough in there to come up with something. If we're gonna do something, we wanna make sure that we have a plan that actually works, not just a concept. We have concepts now. We need a building and we need to fit this in there, so we need to refine a little bit further than that. Is that, to use Matt's terminology, shovel-ready plans that you can move forward with. And you use that term on economic development for road construction, not for these projects. So if everybody's in favor of it, I would suggest that we add to 2024 onto our capital list of $125,000 that you'd be used for public safety / highway engineering or design. Design, we'll just put design. Any comments on that, Ellie? Because I see you looking at me. So,
No, I just watch you right.
oh, you like it, left-handed.
Well, yeah,
Left-handed
left-handed.
left-handed people are always in their right mind.
Yeah, no, they are smart people too.
Well,
Maybe
let's
that's
not
the
get
fault.
carried away. Are you up next? No.
I could support that.
Everybody comfortable with that? Yes, Ellie? No, Yelly?
Yeah,
Maybe?
sure.
Sure. Shirley?
I just said I could support it.
Okay. I'm old. You three guys?
Yes.
Public safety highway design. And again, it's a placeholder for, it has to get through this many steps before it gets, thank you, Gene, for
Yeah.
acknowledging that that was a boo-boo. So we have 24, 25 done. 23. So does 23 count as a 5-year plan, Gene? Thank you. So we have 2 years left. She hesitated, so I'm going to take that as a yes.
I don't know.
Well, you've got,
Shirley, what do you think?
you've got, let's
No,
see.
technically, I think we need 3 more.
Yeah, because you've got highway giving us a 5-year, it goes to FY '27, the same with the police department, and the fire department goes to 30. Wow.
At one point, we'd be using 23 funded, and then 23 not funded is, I think you had that second not funded piece as part of your 5-year. But you're not doing that this year.
But going ahead in the future, you have no idea what your free cash will be. Correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
And also, building and maintenance went to FY '27.
So if we start with our 2 big ones, right, the 360 and 100,
Yep.
that's about half. And then look at big equipment and things like that, right? The renovations and such. So Kent, do jaws of life get old and stop working?
They're hydraulics, they're serviced once a year, but, they have a useful life.
How old is our current one?
I think we funded them in 2013, which is why, or 13 or 14. I'm trying to remember what year it was, and then trying to figure out what FY we were in, fiscal year. It was early on, I think it was probably 2013, which would have been fiscal 2014, right? So we're looking at about, they'll be 13 years old by FY '27.
The brush cutter tractor with the side mower, I had asked John about that, and he's going to be using that for all the brush on the side of the road, as well as all our retention ponds. We're required to be cutting that all back, and currently we're a little behind on some of them. Do we want to consider putting that on our 2026 plan?
I would say yes.
You bet.
Didn't he also say that the gentleman they use
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
one breakdown
might
away
retire
from.
one breakdown away
He's one
from?
breakdown away, and Matt, he charges is a ridiculously low price in comparison to what
I
his
think that's what
competitors
we
would be,
heard.
that the subcontractor for the brush cutting, the road brush cutting.
I'm going to give you the politically correct answer, which is that in the bidding process, he is substantially lower, and that is why he wins.
Thanks
If
for
it was
the,
ridiculously low, he gets it done, and that's what
Yeah.
we charge with.
yeah. What about the lawnmower that we had pushed up? For
I would say-
37,000.
Yeah, with the amount of stuff they mow.
Or do you do all the fields, including the playing fields, other than the school fields?
So, Mike, if I'm looking
Yep.
at the capital item list, so number 9 has municipal flooring carpet,
Yep.
but then number 11 is municipal floor renovation. If you're renovating, aren't you replacing carpet too, or not?
Yeah, well, I don't think they're gonna be knocking down walls and stuff like that. It'll probably just be some reconfiguration of the rooms, maybe painting and things like that. Is that correct, Matt?
Well, I think it's a division between the first floor and the second floor. We're carpeted throughout here on the first floor, except for like kitchen. Is that what he meant? The renovation would be the second
Well,
floor?
it says first and second floor.
Yeah, first and second floor renovations, yep. So the first floor is gonna be minimal, I would think,
Well,
the
if you
renovation
take
end.
care of the carpet, you take care of the carpet.
Well, the carpet is a separate line item.
Yeah.
So, once we do that, the other renovations on the first floor would be minimal. The majority of it's on the second floor. Yeah,
Even then, I mean, everybody has a different opinion. I think the upstairs is actually in really good shape.
right, yeah.
So I was thinking maybe do that 150, that item 11 there, first and second floor renovation for 26.
Well, we can't do that yet until we have the, if you go up a little bit
Yeah.
to fiscal year '24, you have to have the, well, did we already put that in there?
The architect, the engineer.
Yeah, okay. How does everybody feel about that? Really?
I could
Could
just-
go either way.
I thought we already voted on this, or was that?
No, that was for the, we have to do it, we have to,
The study.
there's a code, it's not a, so let me just help you with that. There's a code review that has to be done, because there's a change of use. It was a school up there before.
Yeah.
Now it's storage, now we want to go back to office, so we have to make sure we're compliant. So there's a code review that has to be done, or updated, because we already had Dixon Salo do it back in 2016, I believe. So it has to be at least updated, if nothing else, because the building code's changed. So that gets done, and then the renovation needs to be done. And with that code, well, the code review is 45,000, so that's probably also a little heavy number. As these projects close out, like we did with the public radio safety system, we funded, was it 439,000? We funded for that project, Gene, and the rest of it came from closed out projects that we had. It was like,
We did quite a few,
yeah,
I don't
it
have
was
that
like
on.
263,000 of closeout and 439
Free cash.
of free cash that we used for that, when we did that. So that's how, moving forward, that's what's gonna happen. So next year, that's why I'm not too worried about being a hit over numbers, because this year we only had 1,500 and something else that just recently closed out that Gene could certify. But we have some other stuff that's rolling off, that's closing out, I should say, not rolling off, wrong term, closing out. So we'll have some funds for that.
I have an appointment at 12:30, so I got to leave in a minute. Just let you
Okay,
know,
so,
So what was,
Can I just,
what, yep,
one comment before I lose track? The post office interior and exterior will have to be funded in that year.
correct. Yep,
So I would put that in your fixed list part. I just don't want to get
oh, actually,
in FY '25.
nope,
Yeah.
we messed up, because that has to go back to the previous year. I had said that at the beginning, we missed that too.
We'll just add it like we did the other one.
Yeah, I'm gonna add it on there, yep.
for
For
2025?
2025, you have to put 60,000 in for the post office painting. That's a must-do, because it's per contract.
Okay, yep.
So in FY '26, we're at 821,000 right now, I think.
What are the items, Ken?
Paving, stabilization, brush cutter, lawnmower, muni reno.
And that brings us to what, Ken?
821,000.
For 20,
That's 2026, that's what he has on there. Yeah.
Oh, so this isn't 25, I thought we were.
No, 25, we just added 60,000 on there because we're obligated for the painting, which puts us at 1,275,000.
Ken, what was your last one?
The municipal renovation for the first floor, first and
First and second
floor,
floor.
150,000.
Is there anything else that we see that's urgent for 26?
I'm looking at the school. Like, they wanted 36,000 for paving the back access road. Is that road in bad shape? Does
Well-
anybody know?
No idea. The fire chief may have something on there. Before I would do something like that, I would be more inclined to get them there, where they have, yeah, they have it in 23. They have another steamer. They have the Bunsen burners, which those have been on for a couple of years. That's, I would think that's a necessity for the students.
So
Over
$36,000.
the paving of that back road, how bad is
But
that?
it's 90,000.
That back road.
to pave the parking lot.
I'd have to really take
It's
a
not
look
that
at it.
critical now.
Yeah,
I-
right.
I usually, I circle around it every now and then with my cruiser just to sort of
Yeah.
assess the building and do
Yeah.
a quick drive-through.
Yeah,
I've never had an issue. We actually tested our hose back there a few years ago where we dressed the hydrant and stretched 1,000 feet all the way around the back just to see if we had good access and whatnot. And it worked out fine, but, I mean, that's a few years ago. It could have degraded more since then. I can take a ride up and take a look, and
What's this road?
I think it's the road that goes around the high school, correct?
No, I was just asking or commenting to Dick, why is that only $36,000 or whatever it is, but the parking lot at the town hall is 90,000?
I couldn't answer that question. I don't know what the size of this access road is.
Yeah, right, if it's, bigger, I don't know either, and
Yeah.
I'm just
It's-
curious that way.
It's wide enough to be able to get an engine around the back
Yeah,
to plug into the fire department connection,
Yeah.
the hose line to pump the sprinkler system. So it's wide enough to do that. It's not a lot wider than that. We might have, it is what it is. I think it's just worth a look at, yeah, absolutely.
In this day and age of science taking off, and they don't have a Bunsen burner that hasn't been working for 2 years.
yeah, my own feelings, I'm more inclined on the equipment they need to function more than the access road in the back. If it came down to it, we could always go up there and spread some material and grade it to buy them some time, but you can't.
I actually don't think it's all that bad a shape, but and again, the reason they need the Bunsen burners is because they had gas leaks in the system they had. So now they're not doing anything. So
Right.
That's
I would
good.
agree that that would trump the access road.
Yeah.
That's 22,000, it's not that much.
Yeah, exactly.
It should
Short
be
change for,
actually done even sooner. This is some way.
They have 4 different appliances that, they had 6 of them, and we've already put 2 of them on for the kitchen, for
Yep.
their steam kettles and stuff. They have 4 more on there, one being on 23. I would think that has a higher priority than the other ones, so in the Douglas High School, the steamer, they have one for $13,168. Is that something we want to consider?
So that's not what we already,
No, we did 2 of them in the Douglas Middle School, the convection oven, and we did the high school steam jacketed kettle.
So we did these two.
And you see them duplicating again because they have multiple buildings, so if you go over to 24, you have an oven over there, which is the same value as the oven that we just put on our list. And then you also have the steam jacketed kettle over there, which is the same value as what we already put on our list. It just,
It's going to be 3 years older by the time we get there, so we might want to put it down.
right.
I mean, that's 20 years. That opened in 2003, I think, that school.
Yep. So what do we want to put on there? We want to put the high school steamer on there?
Yeah.
Are we putting the Bunsen burner on there?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the high school steamer is 13,000.
Well, if you guys will excuse me, I have a,
Yeah. Do you have anything, just real quickly, do you have anything that you're concerned about for the next couple of years that are on the list or no?
I trust the group.
No, okay, no, just making sure.
I don't,
Because
no.
just making.
So
You're sure about
meet
that?
on Friday, right?
There-
Not do it on Thursday,
I can't either.
Yeah,
like just before he walks out the door.
I'll send them an email if we decide to do that as a group. We'll see where we end up. We might not need to do it. Why don't we just meet on Friday anyways? We can go over the grading and we
the
make,
stabilization stuff.
and the stabilization stuff.
Sure you don't want this back, Ellie?
I am positive.
So Mike, you're at 856, 168 with those 2 school projects added.
Would you say that again?
856, 168.
Thank you.
That's adding the Bunsen burners and the DHS steamer.
Okay.
Yes, 6 o'clock.
Okay, let's finish off this year, and then we'll have 2 years left, and we can decide if we want to continue on or save them for Friday. So, is there anything else anybody sees that they want to recommend for?
Well, I'd like to see, the cardiac monitors are going to be almost 10 years old by then, so
Cardiac monitor.
that would be 2 monitors for the ambulances. But what I plan on doing, I don't know if I'll be successful,
Yeah,
is maybe each time I buy an ambulance, roll the price of a cardiac monitor into it, so we're not doing separate items all over the place. But that's an estimate for 2 of them on that year.
yeah,
We have to have 2.
70,000? Yeah.
70,000, yep. Anybody have?
So this is for 2027, right?
26, we're still on 26.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could go. I think that's
So that
important.
brings us up to 926, 168. Do we want to, put that tractor on there for the school? Unless we have something else somewhere else. I'm just trying to look to see.
I think it's a good idea.
So did you put down
Renovation.
the school department recoat and paint running track?
No, because they moved it out to 20, they moved it out to 26.
And the old town hall replaced windows. That's
no.
also, or.
Well, we're at 926 right now, so those, Adam has the old town hall.
The tractor was a higher priority than the track. Well, maybe not. I'm sorry, I take that back.
I would, they have it on 26. and it's only a suggestion, instead of doing that, I would prefer to move that to 27 and put the carpet replacement in this building on the 26th, because that's from 24. I mean, a couple more years of wear and tear on this floor is gonna be, it's gonna start showing its age.
I thought you said copper.
Yeah.
said-
No, carpet. That's that Rhode Island accent
Yeah,
popping
yeah,
up.
I'm from Rhode Island accent too, believe it or not. That's where I was born.
Yeah.
So after the cardiac monitors, you wanted to put
The carpet in here.
muni carpet?
Yeah.
No tractor replacement?
And do we want to do the tractor replacement? Because the carpet brings us right to $1,001,000, so we can easily put the tractor replacement in there, and that'll take care of 26. Anybody have any issue with that?
No.
I'm not voting on that.
So
Okay. The tractor that they have on there is, so their first one they have on there is
you're talking,
front-mounted field mower replacement of $29,547.
you're talking the school?
Yes. Yep.
And what was the amount? I'm sorry.
$29,547.
Okay.
That would be, that's district-wide. Front-mounted tractor. Everybody up to do another one?
So we're at 1 million,
1,030,000, 31,000, 30,000, I can tell you exactly if you want.
715?
715.
1030715? Is that what you got?
Yep. Can you repeat that number to me again?
I was confirming with you, not giving you the number. 1030715?
Yep, no, you're right.
Big question mark at the end of that.
030,715. No, you're right. Yep.
and that's for 2026.
2026. $360 for Chapter 90. $100 for the proposed stabilization account.
It was just the jaws of life. And did we miss the international dump truck plow and sander for highway?
We don't,
We're not going to do that one yet because we don't have room for it,
No
so
room.
that's on hold. Yeah. Jaws of Life for $50,000. Anybody have any?
No?
I've already expressed my thinking that it should be a fundraiser.
Okay.
I can tell you that the next thing there, the self-contained breathing apparatus,
Yep.
they will almost have met their useful life at that point where we got those on a grant last time.
Yeah, you have that on 28. Are
Yeah.
you good on 28 with that?
Yeah. And I would
If
say by
everybody want to
then,
humor me and do a dual thing as we go through this, and then we can probably get through this quicker.
Oh, do FY '28.
Yeah, well, because he just brought up that 28, the air packs, that's on 28, so unless Chief, you think we should be moving that up to 27, if 28, you feel comfortable with that?
I would like to move it up to 27, but I will let you know that we will be definitely applying for grants for that. Because then they're going to be getting close to their useful life to where they won't meet NFPA standard anymore, so
You
it
got
becomes a higher priority.
Stretching?
Yeah, I'm good, yeah.
It becomes a higher priority with the grant, so that you may be successful. We were already successful with it once, but if you don't get the grant, everything expires at once. So if we're ahead of the game, we have more knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Because we'll probably start applying for that 2 or 3 years before they expire, and then just keep applying for it.
So, but what you're saying is we should keep it on for 2028?
I would almost move it for 27, but it's up to you folks what you want to do with that. Because we will be applying for it earlier than when it's on capital, just because
Yeah,
they're going to be pretty beat up, and
yeah. So what do we,
they're a life safety issue for firefighters.
absolutely.
I feel strongly that we can probably get a grant for it, but
To cover the whole,
you don't want to count yet. Yeah.
I say we should move it to 27.
I agree.
And if we ended up getting a grant before that, because we put it out 3 years earlier, then we're ahead of the game, 250,000.
All right, 27, where was the, do we want to consider the windows at the post office and adult social center? For 27 or 28? It's on, currently, the request is on for 26.
Yeah.
What
Well,
about the,
it's just an energy thing, so the windows are, they're ridiculously, they rattle when you walk up, just to walk in there, so all we're doing is pumping heat out the windows, and the tenants don't necessarily be concerned about energy, they're cold, they're gonna crank it, so. Any
Did we
thoughts,
miss
Ellie,
the-
on that?
did we miss the
I know
light?
you want to explore the Wallace divide and stuff, in which I'm in favor
Yeah,
of
well,
that,
it's
but.
not, it's not going to have that kind of money, but it's, I mean, it could be, it would be a stabilization type of discussion
Yeah.
of where funds come from and go to. So I don't want to talk about that now.
Okay,
I want
that's
to have
fine.
lunch.
No, that's fine.
Hurry up.
All right, that's fine. So what do you feel about the windows? 27, 28?
What?
Post office,
Yeah, where are they now?
26.
And they're leaking right now?
Yeah, they're the old wood windows with the rope weights.
Oh, I already wrote it down for 27.
27. 27, Shirley?
Yes.
3 guys? Yep. Okay. For 275,000.
The chief mentioned about the lighting in 25, 65K.
So Matt has gone, I don't know if we're getting lighting out of the green
Energy,
energy
yeah.
or not with that.
And where's that happening here?
No, the post office and the senior center. I thought that did they get anything on that? Do you know, Gene?
I thought they
You're
did.
not sure? 460.
Matt Benoit sent out info on
760.
some lighting. I can't remember if it was the post office that they had obtained.
935. I'm currently at 935 for the, one did we just,
I'm sorry, you're at what amount?
935,
You have 360 for roadways, 100,000 for
stable.
stable, jaws of life at 50.
Yep, breathing apparatus at 250 and post office windows at 275.
I'm at 1,035,000.
I might have slipped a digit.
And you were making fun of my adding.
Hey, I had head injury.
This is called cross-checking. This is a very good thing in my department.
I got hit in the head with a chimney cap 2 years ago.
I remember that call, actually.
How was it, Ken? Yep. Financial director is absolutely correct.
I don't know if you remember the call, but I remember the call.
Barely. My bell was wrong.
If everybody's inclined, we'll leave 27 alone. We're at 1,035,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we have 28.
You know, we have one, let's see, police station replacement every year, but nothing else from the police department. I'm sure there's,
There's a police department electrical upgrade in 26 for 95,000.
I think that should.
Yeah, that is on, see, some of the stuff gets put on the Matt's, Adam's list.
yeah, true. Gotcha.
Yep,
I'd say that would be done.
yep. So if everybody's in favor of that, there's a
Police
request
department.
from Adam,
Yeah,
the building facilities of the police department electrical upgrade for 95,000. He has it for fiscal year '26. We'll put it on '28.
yeah.
John's got a pickup truck with plow
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
and a John Deere backhoe.
Let's see.
I would agree with those two items.
Yeah, the backhoe, I think I see that out more than cruises. Does everybody agree with that? 178 for the backhoe?
Yep. And a pickup truck with plow, 60 grand. It's probably more money now.
Yeah.
And I would think
Yeah,
it
he has
would,
it on 26 for a request, and we're actually putting it on 28.
And that's what, is that what Adam got last year?
Yeah, that's a multi-department vehicle. That's for facilities, highway, and fire.
Yeah, but I'm not asking its use, but how much did it cost? Last-
That cost 65,000.
65,000.
That's with a
That-
plow.
So that's it. So just in comparison, that's a one-ton truck with a utility body on the back. What I'm assuming what John is referring to is a replacement of the orange one that he drives
Yeah,
now.
which is a dump truck, a small,
Pickup truck.
dump, yeah, okay, John, the one
Yeah,
that John
John's
drives.
orange
Okay,
truck.
yeah.
Yep, it's his pickup
So
truck.
it's probably going to be way more than $60,000. If it's a pickup truck with plow, I would guess it's more, but let's.
Yep, but I have to go by the value that they gave us. And it's 5 years out. So I'm sure that number's gonna change.
It'll probably be electric by then.
And it could be electric, plugged into Northwest Main Street, right over by the egg carton.
Yeah.
we're actually doing pretty good on getting stuff off our list.
Got municipal PD and parking lot paving, 175.
Just one thing, on your department, what happened to the security system and cameras?
On my department?
Yeah,
Yeah, you had a request of $100,000 in there.
Yeah.
23.
But I thought that that was possibly going to be lumped in with that project that he was doing with police, fire, and the
Okay.
schools.
yeah, but I just don't want it to,
And I don't know if,
and as far as the forestry tanker, I think there needs to be some discussion with the DCR.
I agree with that. I was going to talk to Mike about that, because I've taken the 2 tankers that we have currently out of service. I think there's,
We've initiated some conversation with Kent, myself, and Kelly about this
Okay.
topic. And this is gonna, trying to come up with a strategy to alleviate the impact that the fire department has on our capital budget. So there's conversations about that, as well as this proposed stabilization account to try to offset some of our heavy hits that we're getting.
Okay.
So, like, if it's $200,000 or $300,000, it's a lot of money to us as individuals.
Absolutely.
But in a capital project, when we're looking at a plow truck for $215,000 or an ambulance for $300,000, with something like getting used to those numbers, it doesn't hurt as bad when you think about it. But when you get hit with $750,000 or $1.3 million or whatever it is,
Yeah,
because we're doing a really good job in addressing a lot of stuff. I'm crossing off a lot of stuff on these lists so I can keep track of what we're putting on there. But I think we're doing a really good job in addressing the department needs on different things. So hopefully we can come to some conclusion. I'm going to have an opportunity to be with DCR and on a different board, and I'm going to be plugging whatever I can plug in to try to help us as a town. So
good,
all we can do is keep trying.
absolutely.
So anyways, and back to this year, I'm just trying to look.
Are we done with 2028?
No, we're not.
Okay.
No? No.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Okay.
2028, back to the
Okay.
current year that we're working on.
Okay,
I haven't said 23 in a while, so you should be happy. So
Thanks.
right now, we're at, I want to be accurate, because if I guesstimate, somebody might.
that's right.
But there's a story behind every number that I say, you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
never heard that before.
You'll miss me when I'm gone.
I will.
You're not going
Oh.
anywhere.
Miss me, 'cause I'll be going forward.
I would like to add on the 2028, a security system that if Jean ventures any further than 20 feet from her desk, we're notified.
A bell, all bells will go off, right?
You're needed here, Jean, you can't go anywhere.
Absolutely.
We're at 793 right now. So we got about $300,000. Just looking through the C.
Hey, Mike, we're at 793 right now. Just so you
Yep.
know.
Do we want to consider putting on those lobby windows on there for 25,000 where it's a,
I think so.
Yes,
We're up to 28 now.
that was,
is it, no, it's on this list at 25,000.
yeah,
He says you're out to year 28.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Thanks, Rep.
Anytime.
so we're talking about the,
Number 3 on his list of the capital
for
request for maintenance.
23.
For, he had it on for 23, we're
Yeah.
putting it on 28. Yeah,
And we're putting down 25,000.
correct, because that's the number that we've been provided with.
Yeah,
Puts us at 818, so We're about $300,000 off the mark here.
I would suggest a crack ceiling of the driveways and parking lots at this primary and high school. 22,400. Original request
Yep,
for the year was
yep.
2016.
Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
good with that?
Yes.
What was that?
The crack ceiling up at the Douglas Primary and High School, and the driveways and the parking lots.
I would recommend, I think we missed them, the projectors. At the high school,
What year they have those on there?
25.
25, okay.
one's in the auditorium and the other is all the classrooms, 20.
It's not that I like to eat again all the time, it's just I don't want to
Have,
lose those
Stuff.
appliances that we have on there, because we still have a few appliances left. We might want to keep considering those, that's all. So the, Ken had suggested the projectors. Anybody have any opinions on that?
for what amount?
Project-
12,000 for the auditorium projector and 65,000 for 20 LCD projectors.
77.
20, you said, Ken? 20,000?
12,000 and 65.
I'm sorry, okay.
Puts it at 895. Do we want to consider the, whatever other ovens that we don't have on here? Steamer 13 was 5168. So we have Douglas High School, and that's requested in 24. Douglas High School convection oven.
For how much?
And we also have another steam jacketed kettle in the middle school.
What are the prices on those
9,474
for,
convection oven. The steamer, 13,168.
okay.
They serve as a critical use for us, not only for the students, but as the
Safety,
fire chief pointed out during our emergency week.
yeah.
It served the town well. All right, good. I thought I lost everything. 895, so I want to put in another, basically 25 in there. for about 920.
20, I guess I would do the municipal PD parking lot, municipal center and PD parking lot. Paving.
175. Okay. Anybody have anything else to add? I think we're maxed out now. We're at $1,095,000 for 28.
Mike,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, our finance director would like to address us.
I was wrong on my number. What is it?
No, the only thing I would do
Yeah.
is I would try to fit the public safety, the buildings in with a TBD, and then put an asterisk that it would be an excluded project. But I think if we excluded from the list,
Yep.
then, so we did that.
Can we do it on,
I don't think I'd put a dollar sign, I would put a TBD.
no, to be determined?
Yeah.
Put them on the list for 25?
Wherever you think.
Well, because you got to go through the engineering process and everything else, so you're not going to, you won't have anything for 24 to be ready. So I would recommend to the committee that we, under the suggestion of the finance director, to put the public safety buildings / highway buildings on to be determined on our 25 capital list.
So move.
Second.
With an asterisk after it describing what, Gene?
That it would be debt excluded. So we're not looking to pay for it, we would probably borrow for it.
Yeah.
Most likely, we'll put most likely, so.
Thank you for that, Gene.
Well, we probably should put the library in at 26.
26?
With a TBD as well.
Yep. Anybody have any issue with that?
Nope.
Okay, 26, we're going to add the library under the same description, to be determined.
And that's a library renovation, correct?
That's for the handicap accessibility.
Would you describe it as library renovation?
I describe it as handicap accessibility.
Yeah, handicap accessibility, that's what they've been doing on, yep.
It's not the whole shebang like
Yeah.
Charlie did.
Thank you. To be determined. 26, right? Yeah. 24. I think we did pretty good as a group, coming up with that. Do we want to meet again on Friday to go over a scoring thing? And then just, I'll have these lists compiled, and then everybody will see what they are, and then
Well, I'd like to talk about the stabilization.
and the stabilization. I have that on my list, to be honest with you.
Friday morning?
Yeah,
Friday morning, 10 o'clock?
That's
Good?
okay with me.
That
Yeah.
works.
good for me.
Good for you guys.
I have a pretty full week this week.
Yep.
I don't think I'll be able to be here Friday.
Nope. Is there any-
I would like to be here for the stabilization discussion. I want to get more, I wanted to contact Department of Revenue. I did ask Mike if I
Yep.
could.
So we can, we don't, and we can talk about it if you want, Ally, but just hear me out for a second.
Yep.
It's not overly critical to have it done right now, because Gene's gonna get us information to find out if it's a annual town meeting thing, or we can do it on a special. If we can do it on a special, I'm gonna try to do it. I would like to try to do it full. If not, it's gonna be next spring, so we can, once Gene gets the information that we need, we sit down.
Well, I think I have a lot of questions that she'll probably want to address too.
Yeah, I have,
Yeah, but she's gotta find out when we're gonna do it. Yeah, everybody's
Yeah,
gonna have a
no,
lot of
but
questions. so-
she won't have the answers on Friday if we formulate our questions for her.
yeah, I,
If you,
the
if
next
you
3
have,
weeks are gonna be tough for me.
yep. Would it be helpful, Gene, is it a Gene-related question or a committee-related question?
I think it's a committee-related question
Okay, okay.
too. I think we have to discuss it and.
Yep, no, I just, why I asked you that, if it was a Gene-related one, I would say email her, and then she could bring it to the next meeting that we have to talk about it. So, on the stabilization part of it, I would like to have Gene involved in it. I think it's very critical that she's involved in every conversation that we have about that. If nothing else, she'll set us straight. So why don't we let her get through this next little phase, and maybe next month we can meet, or whenever we get past this town meeting thing. That's your biggest hiccup right now, Gene?
There's many hiccups right now.
Right. But
Okay, yeah, no, I forget about this. I'm not.
we're not gonna get it on the spring one, so
Right, yeah.
we can prolong it a little bit.
Okay,
It's not gonna
that's
go
fine.
away, it's on everybody's mind.
Yeah.
Positive or negative, it's on everybody's mind. So I think that we'll, just on the stabilization, we'll just hold off on that until we have everybody here. I want the administrator here, I want Jean here. And it's gonna also give the fire department, the fire chief, time to help educate us what his strategy is moving forward too, because that's a big part of it. Is that good?
Are you looking?
Yeah.
My distant glasses are right here.
Yeah, no.
So they don't fog up with my mask, so
Yeah, that good?
that's good.
Good plan? Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
So Friday, we're meeting to discuss.
Friday, we're
our-
just gonna go over, I'll have these things compiled into a neat list, so we're all on the same page with this stuff. And we're
Right.
gonna talk about, I just wanna go over this grading thing,
Yeah.
so then we can just put that to sleep.
Yep,
And
good.
we have a better plan moving forward. What I want everybody to do is look at that grading thing and specifically pay attention to those A, B, C, and D, and see what spot you want to put those in, because like I pointed out, 1 point says that it's needed under B, but it requires funding. In my mind, it should be in 4 for that reason. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to agree with me, but that's what I actually need people to do, is pay attention to that portion of it, so then we can get a better understanding as to how these things are being graded. It'll be up to Matt to talk to his department heads and show them how the grading system should be doing. They should be, a priority 1 should be line item only, not in sequence. Sequence doesn't help us, because when I see a 7, I don't even pay attention to it, I just push it aside. It's like, 7, that's not even important, they don't care about it, because we only go 1 through 4. Why do I have a 7? Now I understand it, because they did it in sequence. So I think after this year, we should be in pretty good shape, that everybody should be on the same page. With that, I'm gonna ask Jean what she wants.
So we'll have it compiled in the warrant. So when you look at the list, I'm going to not ask you to do a separate list. We're going to type it into the warrant. Can you please proof it?
Yeah.
You are separate
Yeah.
from it. Lisa and I are looking at it all the time.
Yeah?
Mock it up. Use your red pen. If there's any typos, so we'll put it in that
So
form.
you're gonna take that list we made today and put it,
Yeah.
Thank-
And because we
No,
need to get it in the
that-
warrant.
it's easier for me, thank you.
Yes. And then, but I want you to really look at it.
No, we're gonna look at it, yeah.
Yeah, and mock it up, because it goes to the public hearing on the 12th. So
Yep.
we'll get it ready for tonight's prelim for the Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen tomorrow, and then the
Yep.
12th is public hearing. So any typos,
Yep.
read through the whole thing, but
Right.
Sure.
Many eyes is better.
No, I thank everybody. I think it was a good process. It was a lot of work this morning, but I think we did a pretty good job in addressing a lot of stuff. Hopefully, we made different departments happy. We'll find out.
Well, I think it's more than just making, and I agree, making departments happy, but it's also gradually moving ahead for things that haven't been done, that have been left behind because of circumstances
Right.
such as
Yep.
not having
Yep.
money, and not being able to fund capital items in the past, and also the safety of the community.
Yep. No, absolutely. And I'm not trying to spend money. My goal is to address as much as we can while we can do it.
Yes.
If things change and we sideline stuff for not good reasons, then we're going to really suffer in the long run. That's why have all these trucks backed up all at once. And we're trying to figure out how to get past that.
Yep. Good job.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn before
So
Ellie runs
moved.
away. I seen her moving in her chair.
Second.
Motion made by Shirley, seconded by Ellie. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Jean.